Have you ever had that feeling where you've got this mile-long list of things you want to learn, but you just never, ever get started? Well, today, we're going to unpack a really powerful idea from Josh Kaufman's book, The First 20 Hours. It's a whole framework for how to get surprisingly good at pretty much anything and do it fast. Oof, does that hit a little too close to home? You know, maybe for you it's a guitar collecting dust in the corner, or a language app you opened twice, or that coding book that's basically a coaster now. Yeah, it's a story a lot of us know all too well. I thought so. You know, Kaufman calls himself a learning junkie. And if you're anything like me, you've got that exact same endless to-learn list. But the space between wanting to learn something and actually doing it, well, it can feel like this giant impossible canyon you can't cross. And that feeling of being totally stuck before you even take the first step, it actually has a name. It's the learning overload problem. The sheer number of things we want to learn can be, well, completely paralyzing. And let's be real, the biggest excuse is always time, right? We look at our calendars, already packed, and we think, there is no way I can fit something new into this. But what if I told you the amount of time you actually need is way, way less than you've been led to believe? So this brings us to what might be the single biggest mental block in modern learning. It's one intimidating number that has probably stopped millions of us from even trying. 10,000 hours. This number, made famous by Malcolm Gladwell, has become this cultural shorthand for what it takes to master a skill. And honestly, it's just completely terrifying. To really put that into perspective, that's 40 hours a week, every single week for half a decade. I mean, no wonder we never start. Who on earth has that kind of time? But okay, here's the crucial piece of the puzzle that almost always gets left out. The 10,000-hour rule was never meant for regular people learning a hobby. It was researched for developing expert-level performance in these ultra-competitive fields. We're talking about chess grandmasters, concert violinists, elite athletes. Exactly. Most of us don't need to play at Carnegie Hall. We just want to be able to play Happy Birthday on the piano for our kids' party. What if the goal isn't to be a world-class expert, but just to be, good enough to have fun with it? And this is where Kaufman's research is just so liberating. He puts forward a totally different way of thinking, and with it, a new and much, much more achievable magic number. So the key is just to understand which game you're trying to play. You've got that long, slow climb to world-class mastery on one side, and on the other, you've got this rocket ship called rapid skill acquisition, which is all about getting good enough, fast enough, to where the skill is actually useful and enjoyable. And the number for that, just 20 hours. That's it. Think about it, that's less than 1 hour a day for a single month. All of a sudden, learning that new thing feels possible again, doesn't it? Kaufman calls this whole process rapid skill acquisition. The goal isn't to be an expert. It's a strategic use of your time for one main reason: to push you past that initial frustration barrier. You know, that point where we all feel clumsy and incompetent and just want to quit, so you can get to the fun part. So how do you actually make those 20 hours count? Well, Kaufman lays out a super clear roadmap with 10 principles for practicing smart. Now, there are 10 principles in total, and they're all about being efficient with your time. A few of the big ones are choosing a project you'll actually love doing, breaking the skill down into the tiniest possible pieces, and getting rid of any and all distractions that will try to pull you away from your practice time. And you can actually simplify this even more. Just think about it in 3 basic phases. First, you plan it. You pick your skill, you define what good enough actually looks like, and you get your tools. Then you do it. You carve out the time and you get rid of distractions. And finally, you refine it. You get quick feedback and you focus on just doing more, not on doing it perfectly. You know, I want to zoom in on that refine it phase for a second, because it has one of the most powerful and kind of counterintuitive ideas in this whole book. And that's the idea of prioritizing quantity over quality, especially at the very beginning. There's this amazing story that really illustrates this point. A ceramics teacher divides his class in 2. He tells one half, you guys are going to be graded on the sheer weight of your pots, pure quantity. And he tells the other half, you'll be graded on the perfection of a single, flawless pot. So at the end of the semester, guess which group produced all the best-looking pots? It was the quantity group. Why? Because they weren't paralyzed trying to be perfect. They were just busy making pots, making mistakes, and most importantly, they were learning by doing. And this idea of focusing on just doing a lot of reps, it's not just a nice story. There's a real scientific principle behind it. It's called the power law of practice, and it's all about this famous learning curve. So just take a look at this curve. See how steep it is right at the start? That is the magic. Those first few hours of practice are where you get the most dramatic improvements. You go from knowing literally nothing to, hey, I can actually do this really, really fast. Your first 20 hours give you the biggest possible bang for your buck, time-wise.
Okay, so let's bring all this home. We have totally debunked that scary 10,000-hour myth, and we've laid out a clear 20-hour path to getting pretty good at something new.
And this leads us to maybe the single most important takeaway of all. The major barrier to learning something new isn't intellectual, it's emotional. It's that initial frustration, that feeling of being totally incompetent. The whole point of committing to these first 20 hours is to make a conscious decision to push through that wall until you get to the other side, where it starts to get fun. So think back to that one skill you've always wanted to have. The only thing standing between you and being surprisingly good at it is about 45 minutes a day for the next month. So the question isn't, can I learn this anymore? The real question is, what will you learn first?